shoe, me show. Well, me say, man, there's some more say. Oh, show, me say. Hey there, folks. Let me turn this down. It's Chris Meaux, and you're watching the Not So Big Show with Chris Meaux. It is Saturday, May the 12th-ish, why not? And listening to some tunage as I'm out on, and get this, you never thought you would see a video made, somebody traveling to this place, but I'm on the old Kaplan Highway, headed to Kaplan, on my way to Seatown. That's what the inhabitants of Crowley call it. They call it Seatown. Not really. Well, some of them sure do. But yeah, going to Crowley. It's Mother's Day weekend, and just spent some time in A-Town, Abbeville, as the French would call it, Le Village d'Abbeville. Who knows what that means? No, that means the village of Abbeville, and I was just there with the family, with my mom and brother and uncle and my dad and my brother's wife, and they were eating boiled crawfish. Not interested. And so now I'm headed to Crowley to meet my in-laws, my wife, my children, and that's what's happening. So I'm taking what you might call the scenic route, going through K-Town, going through Kaplan Town. You know it's bad when you're on the Kaplan Highway and you're going the speed limit, and there's apparently people behind you that feel the need. They've got to get to Kaplan. They're in that much of a hurry to get to Kaplan. I just want to know, have you been there, really? Mostly people are in a hurry to get out of it. Anywho, how's everybody doing out there? I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing great, actually. And it is maybe the more appropriate song than what I just had there by ZZ Top would have been Highway to Hell by AC/DC, right? Because I'm going to Kaplan's, you know. I just alienated my Kaplan audience. No, Kaplan's great. Huh? Really? I'm sure it's got some redeeming qualities. Anywho, I'm headed to Crowley, as I said, and last week I promised an Avengers interview. Gosh, you know, this will be for the blooper reel. No, last week I promised an Avengers review, and I have since seen the Avengers since the last posting, the last video, the last entry, the last whatever you want to call it. I call it the Not So Big Show with Chris Meaux, and I'm going to give you that review. And you know, folks, this movie, I was really hesitant to use the word that I used to describe it in text, because I had people texting me and they're like, that was the movie? And in a text context, hey, look what I did there, you don't really want to get into a long thing, and I'm long-winded, obviously, and I like writing. So I just said it was epic. Now that word, I think, is overused. I think we came to overuse the word epic as we overuse other words, right? In our culture, it happens. Love is one of them. But yeah, epic has become kind of a cliche. It's become overdone, you know. Yeah, I just went to Taco Bell. I had a really epic epic Doritos taco. No, well, of course your taco there wasn't epic, right? Great F meat. No, it's never going to be epic. The diarrhea that will result, maybe that was epic. Diarrhea. But surely the taco was not. This movie, I'm going to use epic as kind of the term that I've used in text message summaries. It was an epic film, and I'm going to use epic, though, in the way that it's used in the true sense of the word, in literature that is epic, which means larger than life characters, and in very, you know, big situations. The stakes are at their highest. Fate of the world. And usually we're talking about epic in the context of stuff like mythology, epic literature, and usually that's got some kind of, you know, god-type being or beings. Certainly in Greek mythology we see that, Norse mythology. But this movie's got these epic qualities. And so you know, some people might overuse epic and use it to describe a Taco Bell taco. They might use it to describe, I just went to see the Vow, and it was epic. Of course not. No, it was probably epically boring, right? Who's with me, fellas? But there's no way it was epic. The Avengers, though, epic. And I just kind of want to get into that while I'm driving. I'm trying to focus on driving. But I want to get into it, and I thought, what can be the way that I can sum this up? Because for me, I could do an hour spot, an hour show, talking about this movie, why it's awesome, and that would alienate much of my already small audience, because not everybody's from the geek tradition, as it were. So what I thought of was there are 3 C's that I want to hit. That's my unifying principle there. 3 C's that I want to hit, my thesis, to use that literary language, that I want to hit you with, and so by doing that, I hope I'm covering all the bases. Whether you're a fan of comic books, you're somewhat familiar with these characters, whether you've seen the previous movies leading up to this, Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, or you've seen none of them, and you just heard the hype, and people have said you got to go see this movie. Let me tell you, the hype's real. And you know how you can tell the hype is real? When you're the highest grossing opening movie of all time in American cinema history. That's how the hype is proven true, and that's what this movie is. So it's worth the hype. It lives up to and exceeds the hype. It's a great movie. Let me give you the 3 C's to explain it. The first C is that it is contained, okay? And by contained, this movie succeeds by being able to not depend on the audience having seen those other movies I mentioned. So John and Jane Q viewer out there who maybe haven't seen Iron Man, haven't seen the sequel to Iron Man or Thor or Captain America, can watch this movie, and they have everything they need to enjoy it. It's all there. You don't have to watch any of these other movies. Never have to have seen an animated show with these characters. You can zip about them and go in. And so that contained quality, to me, is one of the succeeding elements of this film, one of the successful things that it does, okay? So it's contained. The storyline is contained within itself. The action is contained within this one story. You don't have to have read a comic that it's based on. You don't have to have somebody sum it up for you. You don't have to visit a site. There's none of that, okay? Now, if you are a fan, the brilliant part of it is you're going to get all the references there that the non-fan or the non-reader or even viewer of the other movies would get. But you don't have to have seen those movies, and so that's a brilliant thing. So it's contained. The second thing is characterization. And again, without getting too nerdy, too late, and I'm proud of it, okay? I wear my geek colors proudly, all right? But this movie has characterization. Characterization, contrary to what some people might think about superhero movies, or the people that like them, is very important. What is characterization? It means, in literature, when we talk about characterization, we're talking about, and in storytelling, we're talking about characters being developed, that they have a sense of completeness to them, that they have depth, that they seem like they are real people. And the through line when we talk about characterization, the most important thing is that we are able to empathize at the best, and if not at complete empathy, that we can at least sympathize with the character. That's the sign of good characterization. Avengers has it in spades. These characters, okay, who are all, and just not to get into a big thing, too comic book involved here, but Marvel's characters traditionally have always been more human and empathetic than DC's. Okay, now Batman is a DC character. He's probably one of the most easily identifiable characters, in the sense that we all can identify with what we would do if we lost our loved one, a parent, whatever. So that he's got great humanity, and the other characters do too. But Marvel has been more traditionally known for their very flawed and their very human characters who do stuff we would do in their place. Okay, so that characterization is full. All of these main characters come together, and they are real people, and they interact as real people would. Of course they're not real people, but you know what I mean. They feel like real people, and because of that, they are able to not only have great chemistry, the actors themselves have great chemistry, and the characters really play off of each other very well, and it's just beautiful how it all happens. But they really, you feel for them, you like them, you root for them. Okay, nothing is worse than being asked to watch a movie about a hero who you're supposed to feel for, and you're like, I kind of hope the bad guy wins. And that can happen if you have a really good bad guy, but at the end of the day, we're supposed to root for the hero, right? I mean, that's the goal. And you're gonna root for all the heroes in this movie, okay? What's brilliant, though, about the writing, which is at the core of the characterization, and the directing by Joss Whedon, is that we also feel for the villain, right? And if you saw Thor, then there's even more depth to the villain in this movie, who I won't name or say anything about. But you're going to feel even more kind of, sympathy for him, which is awesome, So there's depth of characterization and humanity to these larger-than-life characters, and that, to me, is essential. And they play off of each other well. They get together despite their differences, and that's the story, and it's a great one, okay? And the third C, and I want to wrap it up, the final C is... and I was struggling for a word to kind of summarize this element of the review, and I wanted to keep the C theme, so I went with captivating. And I use that word. I don't want to go off into the realm of hyperbole, but I use captivating because I think that's a much more descriptive term than, say, awesome or great or amazing, because those are captivating is much more specific. Something that captivates you, captures your imagination. It holds you. Okay, you're kind of held within its sights, its thrall, and you're under its spell. And this movie does that. And so there is not an action scene in this film that's there just for the sake of, look at our budget of special effects, or let's just have explosions because that's expected. Every scene, action scene, is captivating. The story will not leave you ever saying, I wonder what's for dinner, or what am I going to do when I get home? It really grabs you, and it grabs hold of you. The action, the action scenes, the quieter moments, the characterization moments, all of them are captivating. These characters are captivating. And so overall, it's a spectacle, and that's what it should be. An epic film, right, should be spectacular, okay? So on those three merits, those three counts, this movie, I think, let's recap, shall we? It's the teacher in me. It's contained. You don't have to have seen these other movies. It helps if you did. It doesn't help, really, but it's going to enjoy your experience. Will be a little deeper, but you're still going to have a great experience. So it's contained. Then it's also got great characterization, and then finally captivating. The action scenes don't leave you cold, and there's heart to them, and it's just it's a great movie experience for the whole family. People have asked me if do I think it's good for young kids? I'm going to leave that up to your parents. You're always the best judge of that. Would I let my youngest child watch it? Probably not. Not that there's no blood. There's no sexual content at all. I don't remember the rating, PG-13, probably just because it's got action, and stylized, what they call stylized violence. The MPAA calls it stylized violence. I personally think that kids today have seen that in cartoons. I think a Wile E. Coyote cartoon is probably as violent as this movie. And there's a scene with the Hulk where you're gonna get what that reference means, or a Droopy cartoon. But so I think it's good for kids. I don't know that I would take my youngest daughter, who's 4, to see it, but definitely my 6-year-old would have no problem with it, and I think she would really enjoy it. So it's a good family movie. It's a great date movie because you're gonna laugh, and even girls are gonna like this flick. Okay, ladies, you're gonna love it. So highly recommended. Finally, I want to just let you know the Big Show with Chris Meaux, Episode 1, version 3.0, still set for the last week in May. And just to let you know, I want to just kind of tease this. I don't want to give you too much information, but there's going to be a monologue, of course. There's going to be a guest, which is Roy Pettifees, and he is the Bill Murray, as I explained in last week's installment. He's the Bill Murray to my David Letterman. And then I'm going to just tell you the name of the the closing ending segment. I don't want to tell you what it is, but I'm going to tell you the name of it. It's called the Geek Peek, and I will do this from time to time. What is the Geek Peek? Without giving it away, it is going to give you an insight into people like myself who are called nerds and geeks, and I'm fine with both terms. But I'm using the Geek Peek because of the rhyme there. We people who love science fiction and comic books and superheroes and collect action figures, and who are still in our 30s and older. and so it's going to give you kind of an idea of why, because some people are asking me, why do you like action figures? What's that all about, for example? Why do you still read comics? So the Geek Peek will give you an idea of what's behind all that. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to The Big Show with Chris Meaux's YouTube page, and you can go to do that by, signing into your YouTube account if you have one, and then subscribe to my channel. And every time I do put a new video up, it's going to then send an email to you, letting you know that we've got a new video posted. Please be sure to go and like The Big Show with Chris Meaux page, community page on Facebook. And if you have any questions, you can contact me through YouTube, through Facebook. You can also get to me through The Big Show with Chris Meaux at gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great Mother's Day weekend to all the mothers out there. We love you, and I love you, Mom, if you're watching. Hi, Mom. And be sure you take care of your mom in some way.